Gabi, Bongani's helper, narrated how he was able to save Bongani to him. He had gone to that area to inspect a land for their new church. He wanted to take his normal route back home, but he felt a strong urge to pass through another route. At first, it seemed odd to him, but in the middle of his thoughts, he heard Bongani's shout for help. He rushed towards the direction, and he saw a man in black with two madmen around him, dispelling some evil energy that made Bongani lose consciousness. Feeling more urge to intervene, Gabi stepped into the scene, engaged in an intense spiritual battle with Mr. Amani and his cohorts. After 15 minutes of intense battle, Mr. Amani and his accomplices disappeared. He later got to know that Mr. Amani had died, while his two sons, whose spirits had been used to assume the shape of madmen who had the strength of 100 men and had been the mysterious laborers who helped him have the large number of tubers of yams he usually had, lost their spiritual ability to do that. They lost consciousness for 3 weeks, and their extended family members took them to a native doctor for proper care. Bongani started living with Gabi, who was a young, financially struggling man in his 20s. Gabi is an undergraduate who sponsors himself in school. He eats one meal per day, but for his guest Bongani, he gave him 2 meals per day. There were days he couldn't meet up with feeding him twice, and he would just pacify Bongani, who was used to eating thrice daily. He introduced Bongani to his church, and the pastor welcomed him. Bongani felt safe in his new environment. However, he later discovered that two mysterious things were happening to him. He started having dreams of a mad version of him working on the farm, and he would wake up sweating. He also realized that Mr. Amani's sweet motivational talks back then started seeping into his thoughts more frequently than before. The urge to get rich became excessive in him again as he started loathing his financial condition, starting from the once-in-a-day eating habit. He wanted to complain to Gabi, but he realized that he himself lived under such condition, and since he wasn't his father, he didn't owe him food. Some days later, he decided to go out of the house and survey the environment to see what he could do. Education had been on a standstill since his mother died. Mr. Hamani only promised to send him back to school. He didn't implement it, as he gave excuses upon excuses. Gabi had plans to send him back to school, but he needed to save some money, and he planned to tell the pastor about it and see if the church could help. During one of Bongani's outings, he made a new friend who was of the same age grade with him. Bongani met him at his new place of work, which he just got. He got a job as an offloader in a cocoa company. Taylor also worked there. Because of how he made Bongani feel at home in the new company and his gentle look, Bongani made him his friend. They are together and do a lot of things together. There were many young men who worked in the factory, but Bongani noticed that Taylor loved him specially. He would bring him food at work, look for him anytime he was out of sight. He ensured he saw him off to the junction close to his house before he turned to go to his house. At first, Bongani enjoyed the attention, but later on, the love seemed like an obsession, as Taylor showed signs of anger whenever Bongani was spending time with another person. Gabi got to know about his new job, which he wasn't too pleased with. But Bongani convinced him that he was doing it for a short duration, just to raise money for his school fees. Gabi allowed him, Though still unsettled in his spirit, Bongani has started reading the Bible that was given to him and even his mother's letters. The safe environment he was in gave him the false impression that he was out of harm's way. Few weeks after becoming friends with Taylor, he noticed something strange about him. He talked about money so much, with the same passion and aggressiveness that Mr. Amani had. If they both talked 10 times, 9 out of the 10 times was about money and how to make it big in their youthful years. At first, Bogani shoved it off, but later he realized that his greed grew, his nightmares increased, and twice he had made efforts to steal from his boss, but something kept drawing him back. Soon he realized he was now the one initiating conversations about money whenever he saw Taylor. Taylor loved the new development and took him out one day. He introduced him to a group of tough-looking guys. They made Bongani drink a shot of hot drink, which he spat out after a few sips. They laughed. Taylor didn't mention the reason for the meeting. He just told him, "Our dreams will come to pass with the help of these guys." Bongani went to church on Sundays. Gabby had wanted him to attend weekly services too, but he closed late from work. The pastor has told him he wanted to see him. But because he had many guests after service, Bongani couldn't wait. Not quite long, Bongani became popular in his new environment. Many guys wanted to be friends with him, a development which scared him because many of the guys were street ruffians and yahoo boys. Some had tried getting to him through buying him things, which at first he thought was a mere friendly gesture, until it got too close for comfort. Daily, more and more bad boys wanted to be his friend. It was like a pull. He didn't know what to do. Taylor told him one day that the guys he introduced him to had arranged an excursion and they were inviting him. It was going to be sponsored by them. So, Bongani decided to go. He decided not to tell Gabby because he knew he wouldn't allow him. Already, he was uncomfortable with his friendship with Tehila and had had few words with Bongani about Tehila. By telling him his spirit didn't agree with his personality, but since he didn't have any concrete evidence against him, he couldn't say more. The night prior to when Bongani planned to travel for the excursion, which at this time was still unknown to Gabby, Bongani had planned to go when he left for school and come back before late in the evening when Gabby came back from school. The excursion town is a nearby town, so he was certain he would return before Gabby. Gabby had a revelation at night that got him very disturbed. He woke Bongani up in the middle of the night and asked him where he was traveling to the next day. Bongani, still in his subconscious state, answered and mentioned the name of the town. Suddenly, he woke fully, coming to the realization that he just let out a piece of information he wanted to keep secret. He started to take back his words. Travel? No, I'm not traveling. Where did you see that? Unconvinced, Gabby said, "Don't lie to me. The Lord has shown me that you are traveling with your friends today, and their plan is to initiate you into occultism. You don't have to lie. The Lord already revealed it to me." Bongani jacked himself up properly. What? They want to initiate me? No wonder my night has been full of nightmares, he said. Gabby turned on the light and asked him to tell him more. Tell me your struggle since you got here. Hesitant at first, but after much prodding, Bongani began to tell him how he had been struggling with flashbacks from his conversations with Mr. Amani and how the thoughts had formed a stronghold in him, his nightmares, and the influx of street ruffians wanting to be his friend. Gabby listened patiently. When last did you read your Bible? He asked. Bongani shook his head to signify he hadn't been reading it. That was where the devil got you. You need a super word to break the hold of damaging words that have been planted in you. You stayed with a man who daily planted seeds of greed in you for 6 months, and you were thinking it would disappear without an effort. The impact of those words, which have formed a hold in your heart, is what is attracting the wrong friends to you. And it won't stop until you go the same path Mr. Amani went, which is a ritualist. Bongani screamed, "Please help me. I never want to be anything like him," he begged, holding Gabby. "Only you can help yourself. If your mother's words could help your heart form a barrier against Mr. Amani's words while with him, how much more the word of God?" The next day, Gabby arranged a meeting between him and the pastor, who linked him to a Bible and prayer study clique, who visited him daily and had Bible and prayer sessions with him for 3 months. Bongani was all after the experience. He had developed great love for study of the word, and he never left home without it. 2 months later, he had gained stability. He had been enrolled back in school, and he no longer had the inordinate ambition he used to have. He was doing well psychologically and spiritually. He told Gabby that he wanted to go to his village to visit Mr. Amani's children and see if he could help them. Gabby disallowed him. "Your light has just begun to shine. It isn't yet mature for such intense darkness you want to expose it to. Stay here and grow." Bongani listened and blossomed into an enviable young man